the God. And Ilah means God. In the Arabic language, one of the peculiarities of the Arabic language is that when you have al-Ilah, what happens is that this middle hamza, if you learn that in your Arabic courses and so on, so call it, this hamza becomes removed. It's in the peculiarity, and the word becomes then Allah. Okay? Listen to the language. Al-Ilah becomes Allah. Why? Because it's sort of difficult upon the tongue to say Al-Ilah. In the Arab, they drop the hamza down and they put it together so it becomes Allah. So, but the root of the word is Al-Ilah. When you speak it or when you write it, you say Allah. So, we want to know what the word Ilah means for Al-Ilah. First of all, if you notice the word Allah, that's point number 2, because the word Allah was used by the pagan Arabs throughout history and by the Muslims to only mean the creator of the heavens and earth. They never used to use this word to anyone else. Like now the word God, well, you can say God referring to Isa ibn Maryam, alayhi salam, Jesus, right, son of Mary, or you can use the word God to refer to the Greek God, or you can use the word God to refer to all sorts of things, right? But the word Allah, even amongst the pagan Arabs, was preserved for the praise of the heavens and the earth. You see what I'm saying? I mean, even though they used to direct some of the worship, they used to worship Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, they also used to worship other than Allah. They would worship their idols or the angels, okay? And they used to imagine that these were gods with Allah. However, the word Allah, they used to never use this word, they used to never, except when they wanted to restore the creator of the heavens and the earth. This is very important to know. So the word Allah has historically been preserved, whether in times of Jahiliyyah, the time before Islam, among the pagan Arabs, and until today, in the Sharia, meaning the creator of the heavens and the earth. It was never used for anybody else. While the word God in English, or in other languages, if you look at the word God, it can be used for whether the creator of the heavens and the earth, the real God, or friends, both God's friends, and so forth, okay? This is a very important point to know, we should really be aware of. Second thing is a side point to this word, the other name which is used only for Allah, Ar-Rahman. This is the second name, inshallah, and we'll get to when we talk about the meaning of Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim in our lectures, inshallah. We'll discuss it more. But just so we can be aware of it, that also the word Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, right, is also, the Arabs used to only use this meaning Allah. Even though that when they came to the Prophet ﷺ and the Prophet ﷺ said the name Ar-Rahman, they said, who is Ar-Rahman? They did this basically out of, arrogance. You see what I'm saying? I mean, they knew that they used to use in their poetry Ar-Rahman meaning Allah. However, this would spite the Prophet. They said, who's Ar-Rahman? We never heard of Ar-Rahman. What do you mean by this? Okay? This is kind of their arrogance and just their haughtiness and their pride. They didn't want to, they tried to keep a point just to argue the Prophet, even though they used to know the word. That's just a side point anyway. Well, we should know that Allah was only reserved for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The question now is that, since we know that Allah comes from Al-Ilah, and that historically it was only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it comes to the question now, what does this word mean, Al-Ilah, or Allah? In Arabic language, the word Ilah, and Allah meaning the Ilah, or the God, okay? The word Ilah has only 4 meanings in the Arabic language. No more, no less, okay? These 4 meanings are as follows. And so we'll take each meaning in turn and discuss it in detail. This is like point number 3. The first meaning is the object of worship. Or al-ma'bud in Arabic. The second meaning is the one who is sought for refuge. Okay? The one who is sought for refuge. The third meaning is the one or the object of intense love. And the fourth meaning is the one who perplexes the mind. The word Ilah, the word Allah is derived from meaning the Ilah. The word Ilah in the Arabic language has four meanings. A, the object of worship. B, the one who refuge. Three, or C, the object of intense love. And four, the one who perplexes the mind. All these are affirmed or confirmed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and false is false God. And we'll see now, take each point in detail. The one who perplexes the mind. So we talk about these points. Can you tell what you understand? Alright, so let's talk to take the first meaning now, the object of worship. Now, we should first know that each of these four meanings can be established in Arabic language going through a grammatical thing, but obviously that's a little bit above us. Really, we don't speak classical Arabic, none of us, okay? So we'll just skip that part of the discussion. And you have to take it for granted that this is what it means. I mean, if you look at the book of Arabic language, okay, or the book of Tafsir, the Qur'an, or Explanatory Hadith, or any sort of book, you'll find that these meanings, I mean, how are these meanings established? I mean, how do we know that Ilah means these four things? Well, the Arabic grammar, right, and the syntax of the language, they show you how it means these things. And they prove it from, pre-Islamic poetry in a whole bunch of ways. However, to go through this is a little bit difficult for us, okay, because we really don't speak classical Arabic. It really wouldn't make any sense. So we could have tried to take from the Qur'an and see, well, when does Allah mean this and when does Allah mean that, okay? You know what I'm saying? The first question, okay, we said the object of worship, Allah means the object of worship. If you look at Surah Zukhruf, which is number 43 in the Qur'an, this is on page 1341 of the Yusuf Ali edition. Page 1341. Look at Surah Zukhruf, which is 43, and verse 84. 43, 84, inshallah. You find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, وهو الذي في السماء إله وفي الأرض إله وهو الحكيم العليم. Allah says, it is He who is God in heaven and God on earth, and He is full of wisdom and knowledge. Okay, over here when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He is God in heaven, the word Ilah means over here that He is the object of worship in heaven and the object of worship on earth. Meaning that the people of heaven, like the angels and those who exist in heaven, worship Allah, and the people on earth, like mankind, the animals, the jinn, whatever they are, they also worship Allah. So over here the word Ilah refers to the first meaning of the four meanings, meaning the object of worship. You know what I'm saying? So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says over here in the Qur'an, وَهُوَ إِلَهٌ فِي السَّمَاءِ وَإِلَهٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَهُوَ الَّذِي فِي السَّمَاءِ إِلَهٌ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَهٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means over here by Ilah, al-Ma'bud, or the object of worship. Okay? So we have to understand what does the Arabic mean, okay? Or the English that says God, being a little translation, it really convey what the Arabic is trying to convey. Okay? It really means the object of worship over here. Okay, what's the second proof so you can further understand this point? Which one? Al-Ma'bud. Al-Ma'bud. Okay, so look at Surah 41, inshallah. verse 37. Okay, here's a side point that understanding of the word, the object of worship, means Ilah, one of the meanings of object of worship. Ilah, one of the meanings of Ilah is object of worship. You find the pagan Arabs used to call the sun an Ilaha, or the goddess. Why did they used to worship the sun? You see what I'm saying? And the sun, S-U-N, right? They used to call it the Ilaha, or the goddess, and they used to worship it. Okay, so this shows that Ilah means the object of worship. And Allah refers to this, the worship of the sun in this ayah, in Surah 41, which is on page 1297 of the Surah Ali. Surah 41, verse 37, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ اللَّيْلَ وَالنَّهَارِ وَالشَّمْسِ وَالْقَمَرِ لَا تَسْجُدُوا لِلشَّمْسِ وَالْقَمَرِ وَاسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُنَّ إِن كُنتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. Allah the Quran says, among His signs are the night and day, and the sun and the moon. Adore, really, the other word is prostrate, okay? You take it as adore, okay? The word is sajda, okay? So do not prostrate to the sun and the moon, but prostrate to Allah who created them. It is Him you wish to worship. If it is Him you wish to worship, okay? This shows us that, explains to us also another proof that the word Ilah, when we say Allah, means the object of worship. Why? Because the pagan Arabs, you know from history, Arabic history, that they used to call the sun the goddess, and Allah over here refused this concept and tells them to worship Him alone and not worship the sun or the moon, which is only a sign, one of Allah's creations. Alright, inshallah. The third ayah is, okay, the first one we want to find out now is that when we say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Ilah, we mean first of all that He's the object of worship. We mean that all objects of worship work. Well, what are the forms of worship? Worship consists of like salah, right? So if Allah is the object of worship, we should make salah only to Allah, right? Dua, to supplicate, is a form of worship. So when we make dua, we make dua to Allah. Slaughtering, when we make zabah or nahar, right? This is also an object of worship. So we say Bismillah when we touch the animal, right? So we should only make this worship to Allah alone. We shouldn't say any other name of any man, or we shouldn't call anybody else in our dua. We should not pray for somebody, we should not fast for anybody. These are all objects of worship. There are many objects of worship, there are many forms of worship. All these forms of worship should be directed to the object of worship, al-ma'bud, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Okay? And in fact, if you look at the concept of worship, our scholars have said that the term ibadah, or worship, means everything which Allah loves or is pleased with, whether it's a statement or an action. So anything which Allah is pleased with, this is a worship, a form of worship. And this is directed to Allah alone. Inshallah, during our lectures we'll talk about ibadah and the different forms of worship in more detail, inshallah, during the course of our lectures. However, what we should know now is Allah, the object of worship. Okay? Now, we know that mankind worships other than Allah, right? So, I mean, like the pagan Arabs, they had all their idols. I mean, they had 360 idols that the Prophet destroyed when he conquered Mecca. Furthermore, we also know that the Arabs worship angels, and consider them to be the daughters of Allah from the jinn, a'udhu billah. We know that the pagan Arabs used to, the Christians worship Isa ibn Maryam. The Jews worship Uzair as the son of Allah. The Buddhists have an infinite number of gods. So all these people worship different gods. So in the Arabic language, it is correct if you call these things Ilah. Linguistically, so if you find in the Qur'an Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referring to these things as gods, linguistically it's correct. Although according to the Sharia, it's incorrect. You know what I'm trying to say? That linguistically to call Isa ibn Maryam is, linguistically, we say that linguistically Isa is a god of the Christians. Meaning that the Christians worship him in this sense. However, that we know by our minds, okay, and we know Islamically, according to Sharia, that this is a false worship, so Isa is a false god. And in fact, in Yawm al-Qiyamah, Isa will disavow himself for the people who worship him. to look at Surah Al-Ma'idah. So when we say that these things are gods, okay, it does not mean that they should be worshipped. We're talking about in the linguistical sense, it's wider than the Sharia. Clear? Inshallah? Yeah. No, I said the word Allah comes from the word al-Ilah, which has been translated in English as the God or the deity. Okay? But I just want to make that point clear that when somebody says, like for instance, one time the Prophet came to a man and said, how many gods do you worship? The man said, one in the heavens and 5 or 6 on the earth. Okay. When the Prophet said, how many gods do you worship? The Prophet was not trying to say that all these gods deserve to be worshipped, but he was in the linguistical sense of the word. I mean, they are objects of worship for him, even though there's only one God. Just to make this clear, some people misunderstand this, and they think that, we're trying to say that you should worship the sun and the earth and stuff like that. It's not like this, okay? Alright, so they take it from like that, and so. Alright, this is why when there's a story one time when the Prophet the Prophet when he came to people and said to them, worship, say, La ilaha illallah. Qulu la ilaha illallah. Say that there is no ilah, there is no object of worship except for Allah. Meaning that all those other gods that you have are false gods, and that you should only worship Allah. They know who Allah was, the creator of the heavens and the earth. But they felt that these were other gods underneath Allah. When they worship them, they make themselves closer to Allah, because these lesser gods make them closer to the bigger God, as they used to claim. Okay? So the Prophet said, say la ilaha illallah. They said, shall we make the gods one God? This is something strange indeed. This is for Surah Sad, number 38, verse 5. Surah Sad, verse 38. Surah 38, verse 5. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عِجَابٌ. Allah in the Qur'an says, has He made the gods all into one God? Truly this is a strange thing, it's a wonderful thing, something like that. Okay. Alright, number 5. So what happened was that when the Prophet, if you look at the seerah of the Prophet, and you find out why this verse was revealed in the history of the Prophet, his life history, or called seerah in Arabic, you find the Prophet went to the kuffar of Quraysh and said to them, worship Allah alone. Say, Qulu la ilaha illallah. Say la ilaha illallah. They replied, has He made the gods into one God? This is something very strange indeed. You see? Because they couldn't understand, they have all these other sub-gods, they couldn't understand why should objects of worship, why should all their worship, from dua, prayer, fasting, paying charity, slaughtering, praying, why should all these forms of worship be directed to one God? They couldn't understand this. You see, they felt that these other gods had some sort of control of the universe, and if they didn't do it, they didn't worship them, they would curse them or something like that. So they couldn't understand this. They meant this ayah means we put all our worship to one God. You see, even though they recognize these gods as clear as the heavens and the earth. Is it clear at all? Alright, now we come to the second meaning of the word ilah. And this is, what I say was the, okay, the one who sought for refuge. The one who sought for refuge. What do you mean by this? Oftentimes in the meaning of the word ilah is the person who's the object of worship. The second one is the one who sought for refuge. That means when you have afraid of something or you want something, who do you turn to when you turn to your ilah? You see what I'm saying? When you need to seek refuge from a fear, okay? When you turn to somebody to take you out of that problem, okay? The one you turn to is your ilah. So like for instance, when you're on a ship sinking in the sea, right? Who did you call on to save you from drowning? You call on to your God, your Ilah. This is the second meaning of the word Ilah. When you seek refuge to, okay? Or like in battle, if the enemy is all surrounding you, they call upon God to make them victorious or to save them. Or whatever the situation they might be, where they feel that they're all encompassed, that there's no way out of it. People call upon God. This is what we mean by the second meaning of it. This is why, if you look at the history of the Arabs, the pagan Arabs used to go to their idols, and they used to worship them to seek victory from them. Okay? And Allah refers to this in the Qur'an. If you look at Surah 36, Surah Yasin. Verse 74. Surah 36, Yasin, verse 74. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ آلِهَةً لَعَلَّهُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. Yet they take for worship gods other than God, hoping that they might be helped or given victory. Okay? So this comes from the second meaning of Ilah. The pagan Arabs, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is referring to this, what they used to do. They used to go to their idols and seek victory from them. This is why the Arabs used to say, whoever worships al-Uzza, the idol Uzza, he became victorious. You see, because the word Uzza in Arabic, this is one of the main gods of the Arabs, is derived from the word al-Izza. Al-Izza means might or victory. So they call this idol al-Izza, which is derived from al-Izza, meaning the one who gives might or victory. Although we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Aziz, Allah is the one who gives the mighty one, Allah is the one who gives the victory. The pagan Arabs, corrupting this concept, they call one of their idols al-Izza, which is derived from the word Izza, which means to give might or victory. That's what they used to say. It's an Arabic saying in the pagan time, that whoever worships al-Izza, that says, he became victorious. And that is why when Abu Sufyan, while he was a pagan, before he became Muslim, in the battle of Uhud, when the Muslims lost, what did Abu Sufyan say? Abu Sufyan said in the battle of Uhud, when the Muslims lost, he said to the Prophet and the rest of the Muslims, لَنَا الْعِزَّةِ وَلَا عِزَّ لَكُمْ. We have Izzah as our idol. He gave us victory and you have no Izzah. You see how they used to think? The pagan Arab said to the Prophet Abu Sufyan said, لَنَا الْعِزَّةِ. We have an Izzah, the idol Izzah. We worship Izzah. That's why we were victorious and you have no Izzah. Because if you have no Izzah, you cannot be victorious. You cannot be victorious in the battle. So the Prophet told the Muslims to apply, Allah is our Mawla, Mawlana, وَلَا مَوْلَى لَكُمْ. Allah is our Mawla. Mawla comes from the word wali, which is the one who gives victory in age and health. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Allahu Mawlana wa la Mawla lakum. And if you look at Surah Muhammad, which is Surah number 47, verse 11. This is a verse, it's similar to what we're saying in meaning. 11. Yeah. Which is on page 1380 of Yusuf alayhi. Allah in the Qur'an says, ذَلِكَ بِأَنَّ اللَّهَ مَوْلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَأَنَّ الْكَافِرِينَ لَا مَوْلَى لَهُمْ. That is because Allah is the protector of those who believe, and those who reject Allah, or those the kafirin, okay, they have no protector. This is similar to what the Prophet told the Muslims to say to the kuffar, that Allah is our Mawla, okay, he's the one who gives us a protector, and you have no protector. To refute this concept that because the pagan Arabs worship the Uzza, they got victory. Okay? Really, Allah is the protector. Okay? Oh, that's about 47:11. However, we should know that also, when we look at the pagan Arabs, that even though they used to look for their idol for victory, when they felt they were surrounded, and there was no way out, like if they were in the sea, and they were about to sink, they would leave all their idols and they would worship only the creator of the heavens and the earth. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَاتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ آلِهَةً لَعَلَّهُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. Yet they take for worship gods other than God, hoping that they might be helped or given victory from them. Okay? So this is the second meaning of Ilah. The pagan Arabs used to go to their idols Even when it came down to it, only Allah, the creator of the heavens and the earth, could save them. And this is referred to in Surah Al-Isra, number 17, verse 67. Look at Surah 17, verse 67. Allah says, وَإِذَا مَسَّكَكُمْ الضُّرُّ فِي الْبَحْرِ ضَلَّ مَنْ تَدْعُونَ إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ فَلَمَّا نَجَّاكُمْ إِلَى الْبَرِّ عَرَضْتُمْ وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانُ كَفُورًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when distress seizes you at sea, those that you call upon besides himself, meaning besides Allah, leave you in the lurch. But when he brings you back safe to land, you turn away from him, most ungrateful is man. Okay? 1757. That was 1757. This shows because why? Because taken out, they felt they were drowning. They wouldn't call upon their idols, Izzah and Lat and Manat and the rest of them. They would call upon Allah. However, when they got to land and everything was safe again, they would just turn back to their idols. And all the persons in this ayah. Alright, and also, if you look at Surah Yunus, which is 10, 22, 23. Allah the Qur'an says, He it is to enable you to transverse through land and sea, so that you even board ships, that they sail when the wind with them with a favorable wind, and they rejoice then comes a stormy wind, the waves come to them from all sides, and they think they are being overwhelmed. They cry unto God sincerely, offering their duty unto Him, saying, If Thou dost deliver us from this, we shall truly show our gratitude. But when He delivers them, behold, they transgress, influences the earth in defiance of right. O mankind, your influence is against your own souls and enjoyment of the life of this present. In the end to us is your return, and we shall show you the truth of all that you did. This again talks about how the pagan Arabs, how they even used to go to their idol for victory. In the end, they suffered when there's a lucky charm, but like this, sure. Well, some Muslims have to be very careful from. Some Muslims, and they don't realize they put ayat in the Qur'an in their chest. You see what I'm saying? Like ayat al-Kursi, or they put the name Allah in their chest, or a ring, and sometimes they think it's just a protection. You should. It's just a piece of metal. You cannot do anything to protect you. Only Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, your creator can protect you. So, sometimes you might find a Muslim because he has this thing around his tendon, has Ayatul Kursi on it, or Qul Ahad, or the name of some righteous Muslim, and he's in a car accident, and he comes out alive, he says, because I wore this to protect me. And this is shirk, it's to worship this. So he's taking another God as Allah. See, and as we talked about in our lectures before, that to worship another God as Allah, to die in that state, you end up in the hellfire. Question? Well, yeah, it depends between sometimes people say good luck, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you a good fortune, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed you. Sometimes you say luck in that sense is okay, but in English usually they say lady luck, okay, they refer to a lady on idealistic, it's a paganistic concept, okay? It doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Because they think a lady, you draw a picture of her, she's the one who has the loss of man to either good or evil, sure. That's why we came to be so offensive. hadith, I mean, a hadith is the law of okay, next thing, there's a lot of different, there's a lot of different attitudes towards that. I do not know, I've never heard of it in my life. I mean, I'm not, I don't know all of this, but I know very little. Maybe there's something else. What I'm trying to say is that it seems to be very doubtful that I've ever heard of it. If you say a single action of the law, it will cause this to happen. Okay? But of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us to call us to His name. So you say, Ya Rahman, okay? Just like the Prophet said, whenever you see in trouble, okay? When you want, like, if someone wanted to remove, right? You say, Ya Hayy, Ya Hayyum, Allah says, Hayy, Ya Hayyum, Bi Rahmatika Astaghfir. By your mercy, so many times that you probably and certain situations, it's not wrong. You're calling Allah. You're asking Him to His mercy. You're asking Allah to you can ask Allah to His mercy. You can ask Allah to His protection. This is not wrong. If it's from the Sunnah. You know what I'm saying? If something that people made up, then it's nothing. I mean, whether you said that or said something else. You know what I'm saying? If what they told you to say for children because they're obedient can be confirmed, you have a hadith which is authentic, the Prophet said that by saying this attribute of Allah and imploring Allah by this attribute to make your children obedient, alhamdulillah, fine, no problem. However, though, if there's no such hadith, and somebody is missing up something, then we seek refuge from Allah against lying against the Prophet by attributing something that he said he did not say. Okay? And we should, but to call, Allah in the Qur'an asks us to call us to His different names and attributes. So it's perfectly right to say, Oh Ar-Rahman, you can say Ar-Rahman, please help me, I'm sick, I need to be cured. Or you can say, Oh Allah, or, Oh As-Salam, any of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or about him. And the Prophet said needs to use some of Allah's attributes at certain times. You look at the ahadith and different du'as. And inshallah we'll cover this in detail inshallah. Anyway, we just want to say that one of the meanings of Allah is one who is thoughtful for refuge. Come next to the third meaning. Okay, the opposite is 10 plus. And that is, you see, when you have some of the Arabic, people study Arabic grammar, have also derived this as one of the meanings of Ilah. That is because, when you're seeking refuge, it's another meaning, right? When you want something from your God, okay, obviously you give intense love for Him. Alright? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the Qur'an, says that the pagan Arabs love their idols more than they love Allah. Alright? The people who believe love Allah more. Alright? And if you look at, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 165. Allah says in the Qur'an, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَتَّخِذُ مِنْ دُونِ اللَّهِ أَنْدَادًا يَحِبُّونَهُمْ كَحُبِّ اللَّهِ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ حُبًّا لِلَّهِ. Allah in the Quran says, yet there are men who take for worship others besides God as equal with God. They love them as they should love God. So those of faith, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, are overflowing in their love for God. This is a person. So when you love something more than you love Allah, you're taking it as an ilah. Okay? Now, a question might arise to us, well, how do we love Allah? Or how is our love for Allah is shown through our obedience to the Prophet ﷺ to the Sunnah. But Allah in the Quran says, I don't know where the verse is exact, but I can find it for you inshallah, again in the class. Allah in the Quran says, and if you do love me, so the Prophet, he says to the people that if you love Allah, then follow me, meaning follow the Prophet ﷺ. Okay? So our love for Allah is shown by obedience to the Prophet ﷺ, to his Sunnah. Okay? This is why, when if you come to a situation where we find out somebody tells you a brother says to you, or you might read in your hadith book, the Prophet ﷺ says do this or do that. Say, no, I want to do the opposite of that. This shows, your love for Allah It shows you your duty to your prophet. You protect yourself. Okay, always. So you speak up to the law and obey the Prophet, okay? You complete the jihad. And come to Rasulullah, means that we obey the Prophet and we work in the law according to the way of Muhammad and according to Muhammad's Sharia. For instance, you find, okay, the Prophet forbade a certain type of haircut for men and also for women. They take it out of the Bedouins and they still do it. So they shave part of the hair, and leave part of the hair to grow. You know what I'm saying? They shave part of the hair, and they leave part of the hair, okay? So you find it's very popular, especially among the Afro-Americans in the United States. You know, they also like shave down over here, and then the top part grow, and also some crew cuts, you know, and stuff like that. This is against the Prophet. The Prophet forbade it. So if you come to a person and say to him, you know, the Prophet forbade you to do this. You know, not just your children, something like children do this. They cut their hair that way. Then, you know, some people say, well, this is so what? It's the Prophet forbade. See? This can be shit. We can lead to disbelief, and you know, the people who end up dying in these states end up in the hellfire forever. So our love for Allah is shown through our obedience to the Prophet. This is a very important point. It's all we'll discuss it also in further detail. What we want to know now is that the third meaning of the word of Allah, al-Ilah, is the object of intense love. You can learn anything? About following, if you will? Okay, 3:31:32 is about the one say, if you love me, then follow. Well, I don't know about what do you mean by love me. Oh, I mean, no, I'm not going to tell you what you're taking out to do is something called haga, which is they used to leave half part of the hair from one side of my hair, so I shave them off these parts over here, these little pads on top. Like a mohawk. Yeah, like a mohawk. Yeah. Something like that. Or like a crew cut, you know, sometimes crew cuts you just shave off right inside the legal cut. You just put it in yourself. Okay? Or growing the beard. I mean, there are different, you know, examples. I mean. Alright, inshallah. I mean, like the beard also is a sin now. You tell a man sometimes the Prophet commanded us to grow our beards as Muslims. They say, what's that, you know, I mean. So this is, you know, I mean, we have to understand that our love to Allah is shown through our obedience to the Prophet. The more intense our love, the more obedience we are to the Prophet and we follow his sunnah. Alright, inshallah. The next we come to the final meaning, and that is and by here meaning perplexed, we do not mean that confusion there is doubt about. We mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so great, so magnificent, that our minds cannot comprehend him in its fullest extent, as he is subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah refers to this in the Qur'an. If you look at Surah Taha, number 20, verse 110, Allah talks about the relationship between him and his creation. Page 813, read your eyes. Yeah, 110 of Surah 20, Surah Taha. Allah in the Quran talks about his relationship between himself and his creation. Allah says, يَعْلَمُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ وَمَا خَلْفَهُمْ وَلَا يُحِيطُونَ بِهِ عِلْمًا. He knows, meaning Allah knows, what appears to his creatures as before or after behind them. But they cannot encompass it with their, or they cannot encompass him with their knowledge. What does this mean? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he knows what's in front and what's behind us. Allah knows subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything about us, about his creation. The most insignificant detail, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows about our creation. You see what I'm saying? Allah knows everything in this universe. Nothing escapes his knowledge subhanahu wa ta'ala. As for us, we do not encompass him in knowledge. We do not know about Allah, only what he tells us. And even that, we cannot encompass Allah in our knowledge. This is very important to know. Do you see the difference between the two? There's a big difference between the two. When you say that when Allah encompasses us in knowledge, because Allah knows everything about us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an that He knows the secret, and He knows what is even more hidden than that. So Allah knows everything in detail. Nothing escapes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knowledge. However, though we do not encompass Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knowledge. Why? Because Allah is too great for us to encompass in knowledge. Our minds, cannot encompass in all knowledge. This is why the Prophet said, barely you cannot be praised. He said this in Dua to Prophet that barely you cannot be praised as Allah, as you praise yourself. He said the Prophet said in Dua, barely you cannot be praised to Allah, right? Because I cannot praise you. Nobody can anybody praise you as you praise yourself. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is too great. Nobody knows Allah. Only Allah knows Himself in reality. No angel knows how Allah is in reality. No man, no prophet, no righteous person. Okay? No jinn. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows His own self. Completely. Once we know of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reveals us in the Qur'an. He tells us that He is swift in reckoning. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He's harsh in punishment. Shadid al-Iqab. He says that He's the most merciful, the most gracious. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know about the attributes of Allah, how He is, and what He does in the Qur'an, what He does in the Islamic law, in the Sunnah. But as how Allah in reality we do not know. Because Allah perfects your mind. You cannot encompass Allah, okay? It's not like some sort of chemical sort of thing, like you can take this piece of chalk, a'udhu billah, and you can tell every single thing about the chalk. I mean, you can describe it, you can completely put all the knowledge of it in book. It's not easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But no one knows Allah except for Himself. All we know is what He has revealed to us in His Qur'an about Himself and about it from His Sunnah, and the Sunnah of the Prophet. See what I'm saying? Okay, second of all, this is why the Qur'an says, if you look at Surah 39, verse 57. And the final verse about this thing is, if you look at Surah number 6, verse 103. And this is also, comes to the point that Allah is too great for us to capture by our minds, but also capture by our sight. Although the believers will see Allah Yawm al-Qiyamah, the Sunnah has explained, and Allah in the Quran has testified to, it will not encompass Him in knowledge. You know what I'm saying? And to encompass Him in knowledge means you see it completely. You know what I'm saying? This is why Allah says in the Quran says, no vision can grasp it, but His grasp is over all visions. Okay? So the Tafsir refers to this point. And so this just comes back to this meaning is also further proof that this is the fourth meaning of the word al-Ilah or Allah. We know. And we know all these things are confirmed with Allah. These four meanings. The object of worship, the one sought refuge to, the object of intense love, and the one who suffocates the mind is all is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah. This is basically what I want to talk about. The last thing was that if you look at your Aqidah book, and the first one, that first point. It says Allah is the true God. And how do we know Allah is, the God is proved to be true? I mean, why is Allah the true God and why is not Isa Allah? Why is not the rest of these people Allah? One proof is, of course, the whole Quran is a proof that Allah is true God. This is from Numbers, verse 16. This is like a second title of the second thing. It's talks about the meaning of the word Allah. So now we come to two. Why is Allah the true God? and from Surah Al-Namal, verse 59 to 64. Surah 16, verses 59 to 54. Yeah, Namal 16. No, it's Namal 16. Yeah, Namal 16. Yeah, 59 to 64. Yeah, Surah 16, verses 59 to 64. Yeah, Namal, the bee. No, that's Al-Nahl. Right. 28? 27, okay, sorry, 27. Yeah, 27, sorry, I got the 16 in the end. 27, 59, 64. And, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala basically, he gives a lot of proof, like he says in, quickly, say, O Muhammad, praise be to Allah and peace be upon his slaves who he has chosen for his message. Is Allah better or all that you ascribe as partners to him? Of course Allah is better. But Allah gives different proofs of why Allah is better than the false God. Like in verse 60 he says, he's the one who created the heavens and the earth. Obviously the false God didn't create the heavens and the earth. He's the one who sends down for your rain, and so forth. If you look at those verses, you'll see he gives proof to why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is true God. This is one of the thousands of proofs, okay? So the whole Qur'an is a testimony, and the whole message of Prophet is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the true God, and other objects of worship are false. Finally, I want to just say these things and wrap up today. The final point today is the effect of the meaning of the word Allah in the heart of the believer. Okay, the effect of the meaning of the word Allah in the heart of the believer. When we study Allah's attributes and His names, we're not just studying these things just to perfect our Arabic grammar or to know some historical facts. What we're trying to do is these Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you look at the Qur'an, most of it talks about Allah's attributes and his descriptions and so forth. Why? To open the heart of the believer. To open the heart of the believer to what? To taqwa. So then it's submissive of his Lord and he's victorious in the day of judgment and winning paradise. So what are some of these effects? But we know what the word Allah means, okay? How should it change us? We've studied now for almost an hour or so. How should we become better for it? We can just learn these things just for the sake of learning them. Not just learning Arabic grammar or history, what the pagan Arabs do. We can open our hearts to something else. What are these things? So we can sort of list a few of these things, okay? First thing we should know is that we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of the heaven and the earth. He is the only one who can cause good for us or can cause harm to us. You see what I'm saying? That no one can cause harm or good except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the first thing. So you know that everything else will not harm you. And therefore you have no fear of other things. You see what I'm saying? You know that your faith is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. This is the first benefit of this, okay? And proof of this, like in the ayat in the Qur'an, if you look at Surah Al-Araf, verse number 7, Surah 7, verse 188, and Surah Ma'idah, verse 5, verse 76. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about over here. First of all, the Prophet says that he himself does not hold for himself any he cannot aid himself with nothing causing a harm except for what Allah wishes. Allah testifies, Allah tells him to say that he himself is, he has no control of the universe. And second of all, the second verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you worship other than Allah, the pagan, who cannot cause any harm or cannot cause any benefit to you. So you should know, there's nothing to fear about, you see what I'm saying? Therefore, when you know this in your heart, all your worship will be directed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. This is one of the great things we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means of it, okay? In other words, Ilah is the one who controls all the good, and no evil can come to us from anything else. So the believer then is more firm, and he's not worried about these amulets and these potions and stuff like that as we talked about earlier, okay? The second effect is that you're going to make all your love, your intense love towards your Lord. Because then, when you say that there's no Ilah except for Allah, then one of the meanings is that the only object of worship is to be Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you will show this intense love as we said through what? Obedience of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Absolutely correct. Obedience to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why? Because when you say La ilaha illallah, there is no Ilah except for Allah. We understand now that one of the meanings of Ilah is the object of intense love. There should be no object of our intense love except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? We show our love to Allah how? By obedience to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now that we've studied this, we should now be more obedient to the Prophet's command. The second thing we've learned from it. First thing we've learned that only good and evil, that nothing can harm us or cause us benefit except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We stay away from all these false concepts in which we have. That if you don't do this on certain days, if you don't wear these clothes, if you don't wear green on St. Patrick's Day, this is going to happen to you. If you don't do this, this is going to happen to you. You walk under a ladder. This is all concepts of shirk. The Muslim now is free from this, right? Second thing the Muslim learns now is that all his love should be directed to the Prophet and he should be more obedient to the Prophet. Now we're getting two benefits from our lectures today. What's the third benefit that we've learned? Yeah, but just we're going to benefits now. They're not still in the same order, okay? So. It was the third one in our notes, okay, but it's the second one of the benefits. The third thing, which is the first one of our notes, I'm just reading it as a book, as it comes in the book, that we should make all our objects to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all our objects of worship. That's the third benefit we have. Because we know the word Ilah now means the object of worship. We say La ilaha illallah, all the worship belongs not to anybody except for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, when we are harsh against those brothers who follow the Sufis or some other sects, and they pray to Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, or they pray to Al-Hasan al-Hussein, or they pray to Fatima, or they pray to other men, we know this is all false. You know what I'm saying? So what we think is three great benefits of saying this word Allah today. That only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no one else can cause any harm to us, that our love should be directed to Allah, and this love we said is expressed by obedience to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that our object of worship should only be directed to Allah. Okay? So this is our first subject today about the first one in Aqidah. I think just to try to look over the Aqidah book. If there's any questions about today's lecture, I'm glad to answer. Brothers, any questions? Right. But what I mean by this, inshallah, I meant that harm and benefit. Sickness, okay? I will not get sick if I do not wear these amulets, okay? So people say that if you wear, okay, so we're going to need harm and benefit. Maybe this is better word for choice, okay? Harm and benefit. No one can harm us. No piece of wood, no idol, no man can cause harm to us unless Allah wills it. You see what I'm saying? And no one can cause benefit to us unless Allah wills it. That's what we're trying to say, inshallah. The first thing, the first effect is on the heart. Second one is intense love, which is obedience to the Prophet. And third one was that all our objects will feel what kind of time. Okay. So inshallah, that was today's lecture number 5 we finished. We finished the first one on Aqidah, which is just turned on page 1, the existence of Allah. Okay, so next week we're going to go into some of Allah's sifat. please try to read the book a little bit over, just the first few points, you know. And for those brothers who are new, okay, keep getting those from other brothers. So when we come to these things, we will not be allowed confusion, a lot of argument and so forth, okay? Alright, we'll come to some of these two classes a lot further. So inshallah, I guess I'll see you all next week. 11:30 we're starting class. They've moved the other class now back an hour to 9 o'clock. Part of the class now, the class is 9 instead of 8. And it goes on until 11 instead of 3. Before college, we have a class from 8 to 10. I used to have from 9 to 11. So I'm moving my class back an hour to 11:30, okay? Alright, so? We'll have to down and see what I have to find. I have these books. I don't know if any of you all don't have any copies of books.
Sulaiman says, that is correct, but nothing is the system goes, we do not accept the word. Like, okay?